Hi everyone, I'm Z, and today I'm going to show you how you can set up your own Access Records management system in just a few easy steps using only Google Sheets and Google Forms, both of which are free services, which is kind of nice. And I thought it'd be a really timely topic to talk about, given the fact that many governments around the world are beginning to ease up on the lockdown requirements closer to where I'm living. In Malaysia, the government is lifting the movement control order on the 9th of June, and in Singapore, on the 2nd of June, is the start of a phased reopening. So, this is definitely a topic that may be useful to small business owners who want to understand more about what they could potentially do to help protect their staff better and perform more detailed contact tracing. So, in this new normal post the lockdown periods, good access records management is a must. Here are some newspaper clippings, and you can see in Malaysia, sometime in May, the government said that all businesses have to have a record of who has entered the shop and the phone number for contact tracing purposes, and a similar thing in Singapore. And to meet this requirement, there have been quite a number of tech companies that have released their own apps that work in various ways, but basically support both the end users, but also business owners in allowing them to sort of have a mobile device for contact tracing, or at least registering entry and exit into a location. But from based on what I've seen of these sort of apps, they usually only cover the main entry point of the business premises. And what I mean by that is you only get one QR code for your particular business. And this is, of course, a bit of an exaggeration because I'm showing two buildings, but assuming that the building itself is one business, you only get like a QR code for the entry point into that building. And you may have a situation if you are a small to medium enterprise business owner where you have a number of floors and you want to have a way of understanding how people are spending time between meeting rooms, work areas, and how long they are sitting in a particular area or have been in contact with different people. Now, if you have a gate access system already, meaning like an RFID card or tag system, then I think that's great. You can probably get what you want already out of that. But if you don't, then I'm going to show you a way that you can sort of create your own access record system for very little cost. Well, the time it takes to actually learn it and do it, I guess. But essentially, the Google services are free. So why does that matter? Is the question that you might be asking. So it matters because if you have information where I'm going to open up rather than do a slide, if you have information where you know exactly who's come in, which particular room, what particular time, and you can consolidate that information. And this is just a spreadsheet, so there's nothing magical about it. But if you can consolidate that information, you can actually put that information to some good use because you can visualize the info. In this particular case, if I were to zoom in on a particular day, well, I can just do all. Let's just do that. I can see if this person is identified as a sick person. I can set up a spreadsheet with a bunch of formulas that basically flags that, oh, this person is sick, and every location, every room that the person has gone to, it will show as a red, and every other line in here represents individuals and where they've been or their movements throughout the day. And there's formulas that you can use to basically calculate what is the overlap duration, and you can see in this particular case, there are a couple of people who are at risk, and you can see why, because this person was in room C, floor 2, on the 24th, which is exactly the same time that this sick person was there as well. And you can drill down to the days as well. Can we do that? Yes, we can, where you can see that there's an overlap of that particular person being in the same room as a sick person. So there's a lot of use if you have these sort of records, because it gives you a way of very quickly finding out that information. And say if you set a threshold for 60 minutes instead of 2 hours, then you can see that there are more people that potentially could be at risk, including this person who was in earlier. So basically the case is if you have this information, it really helps in the event that someone or a visitor to your office is sick. You can very quickly pull out the records, use that information to find out who was exposed, and make sure that person gets the help that they need, and perform some form of self-quarantine or whatever. So I'm going to show you how you can basically set this up yourself, and it's essentially five or six steps. Now, the first step is you go into Google Forms and you create forms that represent the different rooms or zones, for lack of a better word, zones within your office area. So you could do it on a per floor basis. If you really want to, you could even go down to meeting rooms, but it could be a bit of a hassle. So there's always a trade-off between how much detail you want to do versus the inconvenience of having your staff scan these codes every time they go in and out of rooms. But coming back to this, so basically I've got a couple of forms that are already ready. So you fill up the forms, basic information, staff names. You can make this a pre-selected list if you have staff ID number, whether they're entering or exiting. And since this is just Google Forms, you can also create conditional logic where you can also build in your weekly health declarations for your staff, or temperature checks, whatever other information that you want that are triggered only if certain questions are answered in a yes or no way. So example, if the staff has already filled up the weekly health declaration, then they don't need to do it again. So the form basically skips past it. And what you do is you click the, you create a form that basically you grab the address. Let me just do this, get the link. Okay, you go into a QR code generator, and these are quite common in on the internet. I've just picked one at random. Let's see, does that work? Yes, that should. And basically it just comes out of a QR code. So this is the QR code that you stick in and you paste up on a wall that people have to scan when they go in or they come out of a room. And this particular form is, let me just do this, pre-filled, is linked to a spreadsheet. And the way that's done is in responses, you can click this little icon, view responses, and you can set the responses to go into a particular sheet. So I've already got one set up, so I'm not going to try and mess with it. But essentially, each sheet has one tab for the different floors. And to show you that it works, I'm just going to pipe in something, some random name, some random number, and let's just say it's entry. This is what I mean. So let's just say it's no. You could also get really clever and try to link the spreadsheet back with the form to see whether or not the person is telling the truth, but that's probably a longer discussion. So I'm just going to say no, but if I were to say yes, it'll ask for the temperature as well. So why don't I go ahead and do that? So if I say yes, and let's just say that there's a temperature measurement, I say 37, but no, I've been in the premises recently, So I do have to do the health declaration, and I click submit. And what that does is it adds a new line into the spreadsheet. And now since this is a Google Sheets page, the way I have done it is I've used an array formula. And an array formula basically takes information from all the different floors or the different zones and consolidates it, and basically groups the information by timestamps. So by doing that, you basically can sort the information where you see that this is the most recent one, and that's basically what you use to run the analysis. So you can have things where you can see how long someone's been in a particular room on what particular day. And in this particular case, it's blank, so he's been in a room for 4 minutes, or for 4 seconds, I guess it needs to refresh. And just like the other tab that I showed you, you can run all sorts of different analyses if you want to. If you were so inclined, I guess you could also look at things like average temperatures of the staff that are coming in. This bit is really up to you, what you want to do. I've set up a spreadsheet that has a bit more data where I'm using spark lines to represent the time that a particular person is in a room, and custom formulas to try and figure out what's the overlap duration. But really, this is a bit that the important thing is getting the information, which you have here. So I've just described to you these 6 steps that I put on the slide, and hopefully you can follow along. Now, if you actually want more functionality, meaning you want to put it into an app rather than have people use the phone cameras to scan the QR codes, you can actually do that. And there's a website called Glide that provides that service. And just real quick, so this is probably not going to be something I can fit into this video, but there is a way that you can make a link between Google Sheets and Glide, where you can create an app where you can either view information or edit new information in. So this is an example app that I built where you can view the room layout locations. There are like 4 different zones on different floors. You can get information about who sits in which particular workstation, and because this is on an admin level, you can also search for who's been in which room where. But if you're a general user, so basically all you'd be doing is you'd be selecting it to log in and log out. So you'd be saying, yeah, I'm entering at a particular room on a particular floor, or you might be scanning a QR code. And I can't do it because I'm on a PC, but in theory, you could go between manual, well, more likely you probably want a QR code. So it's just another extension of the method that I already showed you of using Google Forms and Google Sheets to run it, except this time instead of using Google Forms, you're using a different app to do it. So you can actually just run it using Google Forms if this is a bit too complicated, and that's fine. I thought I'd just share this as an extension if you're interested. So I think that brings me to the end, and thanks for listening. Hope that you found this useful, and I'm just putting this out there. If you're interested to get a bit of help, just contact me via LinkedIn or my email, and maybe I'll see if I can help you out. But yeah, I mean, it's something that I figured out wouldn't be too difficult to set up, and I thought I'd just make this short video and share it out with everyone. Okay, stay safe, stay healthy, and take care. Bye-bye.